Cherish, I am pulsing the blood in your veins. Feel the magic and power of surrender to Isha. Every finger is touching and searching until your secrets come out. In the dance, as it endlessly circles, I linger close to your mouth. I am willing to nourish you, cherish you. I am pulsing the blood in your veins. Feel the magic and power of surrender to Isha.
Hello and welcome to GhostÉire channel on the 1st of May 2020. Sharush, kill me the vulture, and welcome for an hour-long program into the subject of the paranormal. Tonight, you can put your questions forward to us. We have team members John Paul Quirk and Sinead Houlihan, and coming from County Kerry and County Dublin. Hello, John Paul, and hello, Sinead Houlihan.
Hello, how's it going?
Hi, how's it going?
Woo! How you doing there? I'd just like to say, if you're affiliated with any paranormal team or tourist attraction, if you'd like to leave a comment, say hi, please do. If you'd like to show if you'd like to
Contact the website.
Contact the website.
That's okay. It's okay. The lockdown is getting to us all here. It's fine.
To us all there.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about a few subjects, and I'm just wondering if we're alive there just for a second. We're going to be talking about
we are, yeah.
Tonight we're going to be talking about Wicklow Gaol, a place we investigated 10 years ago at this very date. We're going to be talking about exorcisms, and we're also going to, if you do a little quiz if you're interested in doing that. And if sorry there folks, if you have any that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, if I can get your name up on the second finger, Sinead. Now it's fucking gone there.
That's okay. I'm still here. It doesn't really matter. Like I'm here anyway, so
okay.
Yeah. That's okay.
I'll get it sorted anyway then in a second.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. Yeah, just do one thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
Exactly.
I'd like to say hello, a special hello to somebody who's in India at the moment, and his name's Finn Pinto there, and he's having it's a bit of a rough time for him at the moment. He's stuck in India, he lives in Ireland. So I've got a big shout out there to Flynn. How are you doing? And we're thinking of you, and I know because of the time difference, there's going to be a few hours apart. So if you see us in the morning, we did it. Say hi anyway. Love from Ireland there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you there, John Paul first. John Paul, How you doing?
How are you doing? Hi, everybody.
Oh yeah. Oh, crowd are loving it. Crowd are loving it.
Are you being haunted there, Anthony?
We're being haunted there. John Paul
Yeah, but
is from County Kerry, and we
Feeling
have
social distant.
we have Sinead. We have Sinead from Dublin.
yeah.
So can you tell the people how they can also contact us more? Just try and get page.
Yeah, absolutely. So if anybody wants to contact the page, you can actually, first of all, you can visit the website at www.ghostére.net, click on the contact page and fill in the blanks there. Or you can actually email ghost_era66@yahoo.com. You can also leave a comment on the live post as well, right here, right now. And so if you want a private message, make sure you're putting in brackets private, and you can private message us as well. Any questions, anything, put them forward. Also, if you're affiliated with any other paranormal team or tourist attraction, put that into brackets in your posts as well, or any organization, just so we know who you are. We can give you a shout out.
Yeah, so tonight, folks, we're going to be first question I want to ask is how you keeping, John Paul?
Super, yeah. Enjoying the lockdown. Kind of getting a bit bored, but family keeps me busy.
I know. Is there anything within the 2.5 kilometres, is it now, or 5 kilometres, that any places that you hadn't seen before and now you've come across?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I guess there's a few woodland areas around here I haven't ventured, and I've discovered I have a small girl, Victoria, who loves trails. So she's taken me to the depths of the forest. It's fantastic.
We also we've got a few likes there, a few hellos already. Oh, first of all, we've got a like it. Lindsay Critchley. Hi, Lindsay. How you doing,
Lindsay?
How you
Hi,
doing?
Lindsay.
How you doing? Another GhostÉire team member. We've also got Boris
Laura
Johnson.
is one too, so-
Boris Johnson says hello. Boris
Oh, hello, Boris.
How are you?
Oh, he's here, is he?
How's things there?
Michelle Connolly says hi guys. We have
Hi.
Angela Merkel says hello, which is interesting.
Oh, she's here too. Oh, brilliant. They're all tuning in. I wonder what has happened to them.
Oh no, Boris Johnson's just said goodbye for some reason.
Quarantine.
Boris Johnson's just said goodbye for some reason. I don't know what that's about there, but
Yeah.
but see if I can get your comments up there. So yeah, Lindsay, hello. How are you doing, Lindsay? Hello, Lindsay. There you are.
Oh, I see the comments. Yeah.
Yeah, and see them there in Yvette as well.
Neve, hello from
Back in Time Paranormal.
Yeah, we have. Oh, show that. Hi, Neve. How are you doing? Hi, Neve. We have something interesting with the paranormal team, especially back in time paranormal investigators coming up in the next. Well, I'll tell you later on there. So yeah, if you have any questions, do put them forward there. We already have a question already lined up for the lads there later on. But first of all, the start of the topic is we're going to be talking about which many of you associated with us would know that we do quite a lot. That's to do with the talking board. So, but if you have any questions related to the talking board or Your Ouija Hour, which will be shown which will be live on this GhostÉire channel from now on, please put them forward for a future event. So we're just going to go over to Sinead first, and she's going to describe a bit about the talking board, the Ouija board.
Yeah, so a lot of people are in two minds about this talking board, otherwise known as the Ouija board, whatever you want to call it. It was introduced back in the 1800s during the Victorian era, when they were obsessed with death and contacting the afterlife and all that kind of stuff. So it was Elijah Wood, or Elijah Bond. Elijah Wood's the actor. Elijah Bond, who actually introduced it. It was mainly used through dinner excursions in upper class society, and it was kind of used for kind of a tea time game, if you will. The board called Ouija. It comes from it's not actually known as yes, like as in the French word for yes and the German for yes. Ouija, what I know of it as, comes from good luck. It was actually popped up on the board back when they were first doing it, and that's what they called it ever since. The spirit gave the board its name. It was also in 1944. It in a New York department store sold over 50,000 Ouija boards that year. And in 1967, it actually was it 2 million. 2 million were sold, and a lot more than the Monopoly game that year as well. So a lot of children were playing with it back in the day when it wasn't, dangerous. But then The Exorcist, the movie, came along, and people were frightened, and they just never bought it anymore. And that's basically what happened to it. Hasbro, the what's called Hasbro, was it the games company
Yeah,
or
Hasbro
whatever?
would be the
Yeah,
games
yeah.
company.
It actually has it patents at the moment. So yeah.
And I suppose with the talking board, like people are familiar with it now in recent decades, obviously with Hasbro bringing it out, and I suppose with the spiritualist movement that was popular there in
Yeah,
the 1800s, and
big,
the Fox
big
sisters
time.
were the first
Yeah,
ones to actually bring
to use it.
spiritualism out in the front and saying that it's the first time hunting for ghosts really, or spirit communication was used in that way without any, you know, ill feeling brought upon you for mentioning it. So, like if you would mention it during King James the first time, like I've mentioned so many times before, you would have been beheaded. But some
And
other ways,
it,
yeah, go ahead,
there's
Sinead.
nothing. Yeah, no, it's like in the 1920s. The police in America were also using it through what's called undiscovered crimes. Yeah, to find
Yeah.
out who did crimes.
So
But
It would probably make one of the most perfect quarantine gifts right now. I
oh,
think.
probably would do actually. Yeah.
Oh, it's fun you'll have with this. Fantastic.
Yeah.
There's probably probably the Ouija board is easier to do than Scrabble at the moment, this present
Yeah.
moment.
Oh,
Nobody's going
absolutely.
to
Yeah.
believe
What I was going to say
Everything.
is,
But it does get a bad name. But it's not. People have two minds about it. So.
if you're
Yeah.
there connected in tonight, there, if you have any experiences with the Ouija board, the talking board, or if you have any experiences, if you've been to Wicklow Gaol, that's another topic we have, and if you've been exorcisms as well. Have you been exercised, or do you know somebody who has? I know we've all been exercised in this present moment around within the 2 kilometres, but we like to hear stories about exorcisms as well.
Just in case you have any, you never know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
John Paul, what was your first experience to do the talking board?
I suppose the first one is probably with you guys, really. We've been kind of playing around with it for a few years, haven't we? Kind of redesigning it, reinterpreting how it works, trying to come up with a foolproof way of proving it right or proving it wrong. I'd say the first time, I'm trying to think, we started using variations of the talking board, maybe down Ross Castle. We had kind of mood gauges, and I think that was my first experience. You guys, it's your fault, Anthony. You introduced me to.
I suppose it's the we expect we go on from the Ouija board. We brought
Yeah,
colours and different types of
colors, moods, and different mood swings, but
different
mainly
types of
the most.
divination experiments.
Mm,
So
I think most of the times we used the talking board, I tend to stay on the verge, trying to video for evidence and trying to come up and see if everything is a-okay. If there's nobody moving stuff without involuntary or so on, and it's just fascinating to see it in action. I mean, we've put people using the talking board who have never used one and never believed in it, and they've come up with very personal answers to questions we know nothing about. So there is something there. It's very interesting stuff. Like,
and Sinead, how about you? What would be your first experience?
It was probably down in Drishan Castle, where there was barely any, fingers on the board or on the glass, the divination glass, and the glass was flying around, and there was like a big cold breeze coming through at the one time. That was pretty class to see, because it does have such a sometimes it has such a forceful movement when people are barely actually touching it. which is very, very
Mhm.
interesting. Yeah.
And,
And it does
and
have, you will get answers on it that are actually correlated to like old words that have disappeared from our language. So you'll actually look them up and they actually do mean something significant, or something in particular, or some other language will pop up, which is very, very interesting, which will actually kind of coincide with what we've kind of asked on the board, but it would come out in a different language. Old
true.
language, yeah.
Yeah, it's when we think it's actually making up nonsense. Then it's
Nonsense,
actually
exactly,
when
but it's not really.
looking back over it again. Looking up different words in different languages, or old English
Mhm.
or old Irish. That does actually be significant, something significant with it.
Yeah, or the
So,
date. Yeah.
so in the next few weeks, we hope to do your Ouija hour.
Mhm.
Next few weeks, so one of maybe yourself, both of you might want to come on and be hosts for that evening, whilst myself and Jennifer, my wife, will do the actual experiment. So if you're watching this, if you have any questions coming up in the future, or
I
ones
just
out now, if you
yeah.
want to,
Even if
I
you have
just
a
see
question now, is it? Yeah.
yeah. I
yeah,
just see
one,
two interesting questions there, guys. One from Michael Ryan. He
mm,
just wants to know, would we have a medium on our ghost hunts? We've used mediums. I just want to get to the second question from Yvette O'Sullivan Hutchinson. She was asking about, do you think making a board with something very, very old, like an old table, would carry energy and help with its use?
Interesting.
Um, it's an interesting question, yeah. What I've kind of been looking into is, obviously people are saying the glass and all that moves with energy. So I mean, what I'm hoping to bring maybe in the next couple of months is something to do with copper, as it's a good conductor of electricity, and our bodies are energy and electricity, and we'll just try and see if we can amplify
true,
the source and see if,
yeah,
if something like that is possible. Something old. It's an interesting question.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get our hands on something very
Very
old.
old. Yeah. True. True. Yeah.
Number one. So it's just it's still I believe it probably would carry a bit more energy, but so does everything else around us. I think
mm.
everything has a part to play, but it's
I
just
suppose
two
the
interesting
oldest
questions.
the oldest thing, yeah, it's whatever your intent is. I suppose with it there with
Mhm.
the Ouija board there, I suppose you don't have to buy it; you can make one yourself. It's probably you'll probably feel safer, or doing it
Mhm.
yourself as well.
I think mainly the energy is coming from the person or the
Mm,
persons around,
Yeah.
rather than the
Bored.
part of the board itself. That's not the carrier of the energy. You're the carrier of the energy,
Yeah.
the spirits around the carriers. So
true.
that's kind of what we focus on, isn't it, really?
And
To
Yeah.
then,
try and
as you
amplify
said,
that energy. That's about
it's
it, really.
it's the intent as well, I suppose, as well. Like, I go back to my first experience, and I wasn't really interested in the talking board. This was when I was 16, and I suppose we were a bunch of lads drinking. 16, and I suppose you're not bothered. You laugh about it there. It got cold, but that's because there was a breeze because we were outside. But
Yeah.
uh, when it first really happened, when we first experimented with it there, I suppose it's the moment, and that's why you do it when you're young. It's like you trying to say you lose your virginity and your heart pounding. It's something that you're a bit shy about or reluctant to do. You don't know what's going to happen afterwards, especially if you're
Mhm.
living in a country like this. If you're like brought up in the Christian way, like myself, to be Catholic there. Uh, so it depends on the intent, and I suppose that's why young people use it. They're curious, they want to know, and I suppose if there
Mhm.
was more talk about it there, and there's more um, people that were involved in doing it, then there would be no other problem. To be honest, I feel there's more problem with driving a car to the
Yeah.
location.
Hugely. Yeah.
That spirit would find
Mhm.
be more um, demonic than anything else. Thank you for your question, Yvette. About Solomon
Mhm.
from Hutchinson. Thank you for that there, and we'll be talking to you soon there.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I'll just go back to Mike's question quickly. Hi, Michael
Yeah.
Ryan. How you doing? Hi,
Yeah.
Michael. Would you have any
Hi, Michael.
medium in your ghost hunts? Yes, we do have mediums. We do have, we won't classify ourselves as mediums. I generally just call myself an Anthony. and we have we've all got
Yeah.
different ways of, I suppose, techniques in trying to make contact. I suppose Sinead, yourself would be the physical. You get touched a lot or pinched or poked a lot. Is that true?
Yeah, that would be, yeah. I would feel
John-
different things popping around, yeah.
That sounds so weird, Anthony.
John Paul,
What has this turned into all of a sudden?
and John Paul, you were probably you're good with the mind as well. You sent stuff with the mind, and it kind of goes back to an island we did back in 2000.
Yeah. Even if I'm just chilling out, always something seems to find its way to make itself known. Without trying anything. I don't play banjos or hum to the stars or anything. We're unique in all our own ways. But as a team, I think it works better. As an individual, I wouldn't be the same without the team. I think the team kind of brings along your confidence and
Yeah, it
your
does.
ability to just adapt to the environment. Some people are kind of shy about turning off the lights and looking for a ghost. Whereas we're kind of doing a bit more than that. We're looking for answers. We're looking for something paranormal. We're looking for a sign. We're not just going out there and turning off the lights and trying to scare people. We're going out there with an intent of finding something real and understanding it a bit better,
A quick question there. Are you afraid of that? Yes or no, John Paul? When you were younger?
No.
What is this?
Sinead, were you afraid of the dark when you were younger?
Yes, I wouldn't be able to go to sleep with the door shut.
Okay, that'd be the same as myself. That was petrified.
Yeah, I would have had an overactive imagination. Yeah.
Saves a powered electric at the moment. So
Yeah.
hi folks, I've got a little quiz for you as well. So I've just got a little quiz for you. Now this is a little something that you might like to do there. I don't know if you've got any prizes there. It's like a type of hangman's quiz.
You get a ghost as a prize, yeah. You get haunted. Yeah.
So this is
and social distancing delivery.
a little quiz we're doing there. So if you do this, be the first one to try and get this. Now it's a famous Irish visitor attraction, and it's __a__e__e_. New word S______e. So it's a famous Irish visitor attraction. If you know what it is, put it in the comments below and we'll see if you can call out if you got it right there. So next question, we'll come back. Thanks for putting your questions to us there.
Yeah, brilliant. That's great.
We're
going to
go on to the next topic now, and the next topic is Wicklow Gaol, and a lot of the people, if you're interested in the paranormal in Ireland, you would probably have visited Wicklow Gaol. You probably know the stories about it. We did an investigation there 10 years ago. To this day, it's made bank holiday, and I'm going to pass on to John now. What the journey? It was amazing, wasn't it? The journey going up.
You had a very long journey to come up as well. Did you have like 5 hours?
Oh, I think it was a bit longer.
Yeah.
Obviously we set out from Kerry, and it was just one of the weird kind of weekends, wasn't it, Anthony? I mean, we knew it would be a long day, so the plan was to get up early, have a bit of sleep and all that. But on the journey up, we were listening to something, and was Jerry Ryan came through?
Jerry Ryan, yeah. The thing is, with that day there, we were supposed to be the Sunday World newspaper was supposed to be coming and joining us for the investigation of Wicklow Gaol. It was a May bank holiday. The traffic was busy. It took us 7 hours to get up.
Jesus, yeah.
Across 7 hours to get across.
Yeah.
Broadcaster, unfortunately, Jerry Ryan passed away early hours, just a few hours before, and the Sunday World newspaper, the journalist was unable to attend. Obviously, all the news was all about poor Jerry there. We got to Wicklow, we were late. I booked a hostel for overnight.
A little cabin.
Little cabin thing.
I think we were there for about 25 minutes.
15 minutes, I'd say. It was the shortest ever time to stay in that hostel.
I closed my eyes and opened them.
But it was the shortest ever time. But what I can remember, yeah, it took us 50 minutes, but we were, I suppose, we drove anyway back up to the jail. We arrived at the jail. We spent an hour. The animators or the actors, as they would say, like
Mm-hmm.
were doing their final bits, and then we went in the jail at about 9:30 that evening. Now I'm going to show a bit of footage there of something that is included in our book, Rise and the Haunted Island, that we had published in 2016. It's a piece of footage, and I'll just set the example there. So when you got to Wicklow Gaol, we were greeted by Patrick Mahud, and it's perfect. He gave us a tour, everything was fine, the lights were on, it was perfect. It's when the lights went off that it felt completely different. We were like, whoa, suddenly it's dark in here. How did you feel about Wicklow Gaol, Sinead?
I loved it. I remember there was that mood doll that we bring along on our investigations, kept shaking by itself while it was placed on the table.
Oh, I got the video going there, but too early. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Am I still going? Am I?
Yeah, go ahead. Keep on
Cool.
talking.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go on, carry on. Wicklow
All right.
Gaol, yeah.
So no, I found it really interesting. Like sitting in the cell, just waiting for something to come past. It was just so eerie, and I do remember hearing kind of like footsteps outside the door. I don't know if that what that was. The doll was kind of shaking for a good couple of hours by itself, which was really interesting. What I can remember, I do remember it being a very eerie place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was
And
a
I
very
remember,
lonely atmosphere, wasn't it? Inside
yeah,
there,
it was
but
quite
it was
somber.
lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember, as you'll see with the footage coming up there, folks, there was we did this experiment down in the dungeon areas using a plasma lamp, and myself, Sinead, and another team member at the time connected on it. It's like we were using it like a glass, like this plasma lamp kind of thing. And we got shot. It felt like we were getting shot
shock.
through the
Yeah,
body there,
yeah,
and
Mm.
so we did that. The doll we thought was moving at the time there. Now looking back on the footage, it was probably trickery of the eye there.
yeah, perhaps.
But
Yeah,
I'm going to show you a bit of footage there, and it's to do. This is a minute long, folks. So this is we're in the main cells in the footage there, and we're calling out. Now keep an eye out for the top left corner of the screen, because you'll see a door illuminated, and it's above on the first floor, and we're on the ground floor. Down one of the other sounds that you can hear in the footage is from an experiment we had in the dungeon. It was a cassette tape recorder, and it was playing out questions we had in Latin. So I'm going to put this now for a minute, and then if you're interested in commenting on it, do keep an eye on the top left corner, and there it goes. Amen. Okay, back on the table, lads. If there's any spirit here, come towards us, vibrate this table, show us that your realms are in the darkness now. We're going to come out the cells into the noise from down below. Shake this table. Come on, I feel more energized. I feel more energized now. I've just had that little break. Come towards us. I give my energy to you. Vibrate this table. Shake this table. If you're scared or trembling, it's trembling how you're feeling at the moment, the way you move the object down below. Maybe you can affect the other cells with that stuff. Come towards us. Come towards us. Come towards my leg. Come towards us. Cause each and every one of them affected in some set way. Come towards us. Vibrate this table. Lift it up. You're going to show us maybe coming towards the end. Show us something really special there, like. Now, I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if it was the footage there. I don't know if you've seen it there, folks. But maybe you'll see in the next few weeks anyway. There, with I don't know if that came up live anyway on the feed. There,
Yeah, it did.
still going.
Yeah, still going.
You
Yeah,
can
it's
hear
still
it
going
anyway.
live. Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, you might see on the top left corner was a door there. Like as on a previous post a few days ago, there it's like shadow. It looked like a shadow was appearing. What else was your experience there, John Paul, Wicklow Gaol?
Wicklow. Wicklow, initially when I arrived, I was wrecked because of 7 hour journey on the car, the whole lot. But then as we progressed into the investigation, I got a new lease of life and back up. Most of everything felt a bit eerie. There was a few times I felt I got pulled, maybe, my pockets or stuff like that were being tugged at. Mostly it was orbs, and it was just a surreal kind of event because I think I was trying to follow you guys around with the camera. We were trying to see stuff and get as much as we could on it. We were switching the camera footage, trying to take pictures. We were kind of in our novice phase of ghost hunting, but I have to say
You know,
it worked very, very well for a team to come together that never met up in Wicklow Jail was phenomenal. It just shows the connection within the team itself, just
no,
how easily we blended and everybody knew their job and we all worked together as a team, same interests, same end goal. Like I think the best experience was that, just the whole team side of it.
I suppose, yeah, it's 10 years on, we're still, we're still here, which is great.
We're still talking.
Yeah.
But I suppose the other thing is there, I suppose the Wicklow Gaol is associated with orbs. Usually I review the footage there and I see, back in those days, I used to, the orb phenomenon wasn't really criticised there, and what I used to be reviewing the footage there and putting down in pen and paper where this orb was coming in and out of the screen and all that. I think it took me about 10 months to finish the write up about it there, We're just gonna go on talk about if you have going to go through a few questions there. So what people put forward. Hi Michael there. Michael says I made up board back in 2008 with a few friends and we closed it and I got to go to the toilet and I couldn't open the kitchen door and I felt a breeze. It kind of scared me. Would you think it would be the spirit we contacted? What do you reckon?
I'm just reading that one there now.
So I suppose
could it be actually?
I suppose you have to take into consideration going through like drafts, obviously going through people experience kitchen doors and drafts. There's always drafts coming in and out of the house, like chimney faces, windows, doorways. Even cracks in the wall. You just never know, But I wouldn't put it down like your experience there. I give the Ouija board we've had much success with that using the right manner there. We have another question. Let's go with that again. What I'll do is I'll go to a question that was brought in earlier, and it's to do with Eva Keegan wants to know is using your mind, can you move other body parts of another person? Sinead, what do you reckon?
I don't know. I suppose in a way you can, is in a strange way. I mean, I'm going back to even the Russians using spy techniques throughout World War II, and they were using like the likes of remote viewing and telekinesis and stuff like that. So there is an energy that people can use. Now, to access it, you probably have to do a lot of meditation, a lot of focus, to get there. But it's not like, it's not impossible. I mean, there is a possibility that it could happen. For people to move body, I think you'd really have to concentrate for a long time. But there is, if you look up anything got to do with remote viewing or telekinesis, I think them two would be the subject for that.
Yeah,
yeah. You could also argue hypnotism could play a part in it.
True. Yeah.
I mean, you see modern day
Mental, yeah,
magicians are all mind manipulation.
hugely.
Um,
Yeah.
like sometimes you have to ask, are they moving? Are you moving the body part because they suggested you move it, or are they moving it for you? You know, there's a kind of suggestive nature to it too. But definitely the telekinesis side of it is very interesting because I believe they've tested that on animals. So
Mm.
the communication and the understanding
There's
disproves the theory of suggestion. Like so,
yeah,
it's a very interesting one.
there's
Yeah.
a place in America actually. They have they delve into noetic sciences. That's kind of like science of the paranormal, and they pump in loads of money per year to actually conduct these experiments with the likes of
Mhm.
that. So they are still actually taking place. It's just they're not widely talked about.
No, no,
Yeah,
no. It's a kind of a subject where I suppose it's very hard to prove and very
yeah,
hard to disprove,
yeah.
and nobody
Exactly,
really wants to
exactly.
go
So
too far into it. You know,
Yeah,
again, anything is possible, I believe. Like so,
true.
why not?
We just had a private message from Laurie. She just wondered where people can watch. If you're watching, Laurie, just tell them it's the GhostÉire page there. You should follow the link. It's not too hard there. So yeah,
Mhm.
like as we're going on to about body movement there, like I suppose with like body movement is another part of the sense. People think there's like 5 or 6 senses, but body movement, knowing when to move a body. If you're able to do that, then it's another type of sense like gagging. There's so many different types of senses. I know when not to touch something hot or cold. We all use these different senses there, so there's a lot more senses than
Mhm.
usual far that the time of the day. We know this time is evening time here. Like, well, some of us do. It's like for me, I feel it all the time. This moment there, but it's anything is possible. I won't discredit there, and
Mhm.
Ether, you might be doing it to me now at the moment. So thank you.
yeah,
So we're just going to go on to
Keep your head. Keep
another
your head.
topic of conversation now, and it's to do with exorcisms. Okay, so the next agenda is exorcism. If you've had, again, if you've been affected by exorcisms, or know somebody who has, or if if
it's kind of.
you if a talking board as well, if you're experienced any of that, please leave a quick question or comment there.
And I know it's probably not the most common question to ask, but just out of curiosity, there could be. You just never know.
I might be
It's out
Even
there.
if you need one,
interesting.
if you need an exorcism,
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
you could.
you know where to call. Yeah.
But have you got a couple of facts about exorcism, Sinead?
I actually don't. I don't.
You
I don't know
don't.
what happened.
Oh well, you're off the page next week.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I probably know one interesting fact. You probably correct me if you're wrong. It's a form of rite to do an exorcism, and you have to. The demon or the spirit has to show do an oath, and this oath as well is commonly something that you do when you're christened. So it's renouncing the devil. So and that's a type of exorcism. So when I'm asking
Okay.
people like, have you ever been exorcised? You probably think no, but in fact, you probably most definitely have. So
Mhm.
a few years back, about 11 years ago, we did an exorcism. Now this is a subject I haven't really talked about there, I haven't put it out there or um, out to the public or mentioned it much. There we did an exorcism in the house.
Mhm.
Myself and John Paul were there. Do you remember that, John Paul?
Yeah, that was it was probably one of the longest weeks of our life, starting off and everything. Initially, we got the call about it, and we rolled up, we checked it out. I won't go into too much detail. We don't want to give the location or anything like that away.
True.
But the people living in the house claimed there was something terrorizing them. So when we arrived, we done all the checks and so on, but it turned into the most extreme week I think we ever encountered as as ghost hunters together. I mean, the stuff that was happening in that house was beyond science, you know.
And it was like we
From
were talking there, it was like 2009, so this is when we probably earlier first set up. And I
yeah,
suppose we're a bit naive there, thinking, I suppose, following movies and following what religious orders tell you about. And I suppose we didn't really go into a great deal to the client about his story there, and he was feeling it was needed to happen. We felt it had to happen, and it clashed with whatever energies was there was already happening and was going to carry on happening. Relentless of whatever he was going to done, because there was a cross communication beforehand. Like I remember that house, that's probably the most scariest places I've ever been to. I remember going up, the small narrow stairs, and in the bedrooms there, if you were on the bedrooms on your own, when it was dark, you felt definitely when you was waiting and watching.
Yeah, this was a very, very old house. I mean, the first time I arrived, I remember, I think it might have been the second day I arrived, the client was in the kitchen, and upstairs all I could hear was like banging footsteps all up in there, but there was nobody else in the house. It was a very old house, but the atmosphere was horrendous.
Yeah, it felt very heavy. It was like it was expected, but what I can remember as well, also there, as you touched on it there, like it's the feeling of. I suppose it was inevitable that it had to be done, but if I look back on it, it shouldn't have been done there. So it was kind of a learning experience, and what I'm hopefully going to do there in time for Halloween on Halloween night is we're going to show the footage in a mini documentary. We just have to need a couple of other people's permission there, and it's something that you learn, and it's good to a good paranormal investigator. It's good to say that you're learning stuff there, like when you're wrong. But we've learned a lot from that there, and we come to houses.
Yeah, there was a lot of misinformation. There was a lot of misinformation from the client. They had used, was it a Ouija board in the graveyard?
I suppose they did. I did there, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
They probably did, but it's, I suppose, it could have been that as well. There's other reasons there, like which we'll probably go on. But you have to probably stay tuned, and maybe hopefully Halloween night we could have whilst another.
I think we had one other similar experience, did we, Anthony, in the middle of town?
Yeah.
With some Gothic individuals.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that there. So yeah, when you're paranormal investigating, it's like I probably will go into this in the future project there. But with going to a client's house, they've shown to have faith in yourself and coming in, and I believe, and probably in the future, after all the sparks is done there and all that, there we'll probably get more calls, and other paranormal teams will do as well. But there must be some sort of procedure that paranormal investigators have to go through to deal with psychiatrists, deal with people with when there's mental issues as well, or any sort of circumstances like that, and to have some sort of license where we can do this, and this will probably put an end to the to paranormal investigating being a left out subject, because it's every Halloween it's talking about ghost bookings and all that. This would make it a serious subject, and people would take it more seriously. But to do that, then we might need to get a license and be reviewed and have a higher body set by the government to review it. So hopefully, maybe this 2009, we'll hope to have not the exorcism footage from 2009. We hope to have maybe out Halloween night, because I know there's no bars, or that might not be open there. Sinead, any experiences on on exorcisms?
Of exorcisms? No, not yet. Not yet. Would I say not yet? But yeah. I don't know. Hopefully in the future we'll see. I'm not opposed to anything like that. I'd like to experience it. I know it's a terrible situation, and if the people are involved in it, but it'd be interesting to see and delve into on a deeper level, because haven't really experienced it yet. So
It's interesting to ask this sort of question as well to those that have been exercised, because majority, I suppose, 9 times out of 10, the person
It's
that's being exercised is actually not voluntary asking for it to be done. It's somebody high above them, a friend, a parent, and it depends on that friend or parent's mindset on whether to get that person exercised as well, right?
yes, I
So
suppose if they would have gone through other methods first of all, maybe they use that.
Mhm.
If they're
Yeah.
at a loss end, I would presume.
Like it's very important from our side as well. Like we don't go in there and put a cross in your head or anything like that. We go in and we ask genuine questions, and we genuinely don't go in with the intention of doing an exorcism or something. We actually go in as an investigation. And if you need help from us, we're there to help. No judgment from any of us. But and if you need other help, we'll tell you need other help.
yeah,
We're not there to force an exorcism on anyone. But
no.
if somebody's having problems, we're there to listen, and that's kind of what we do. It doesn't always end in paranormal. Sometimes it's just somebody needs to say everything is okay. There's nothing here. It's just because of your heightened sensitivity or something like that.
That's true
You
there,
know.
John. But I can put it better than
Mm.
myself there. It's probably probably it's another statistic there. Probably about 80 to 90% of the time, even probably higher there. It's just mainly things can be resorted with a phone call or an email or a letter, and then
Mhm.
further just one inspection, and that's all that's needed there.
It's a subject that it's not really brought up in this country often. I wonder, does it take place more often than we realize?
It's in
Mm.
question. I know there was a piece of father there that was on the Late Late Show a few months ago, and he was talking about the tsunami of demonic energy being around. I know
Yeah.
probably there's many theories to why that's happening at the moment, mainly because now we're more uh, socially aware of how to do paranormal investigations. People at home can do it now. There's apps on your phone where you can get ghost hunting equipment for cheap. Uh, Visitor attractions see it as a main way of taking money. So anything to do with ghosts and all that kind of thing, that brings in money.
Mhm.
Um, so there's another subject to talk about there, on another day there. So we've got
Yeah.
another
Mhm.
10 minutes or so, folks. So if you have any more questions, do put them forward there.
Mhm.
See if I can actually see anything here. So yeah, just keep coming along with the questions if
Just
you
say
have them.
hi there, folks, because I don't know if it's gone a bit still. It could be just me. I'm sorry if I'm
Yeah,
not
I could see a bit still there as well myself. So
Yeah,
I'm just wondering,
I'm just
is
wondering
anybody
what
still out
Yeah.
there?
just saying. So a quick go on the quiz again, folks. There. So quick
Are
go on
you all
the
right
quiz
out
there.
there?
Come on, folks. Who's got this yet? It's a famous
It,
Irish visitor attraction. It's
Mhm.
underscore
Yeah.
underscore a underscore underscore e
Mhm.
underscore new word s underscore 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 e. Be the first one to get it. It's a famous visitor Irish attraction, and I could talk for ages on this.
now I can't see
Yeah.
the page here, at all. Your page is actually frozen completely, and all the writing has disappeared.
Bobby, I don't know there, but we'll keep on gabbing on
Scary.
for the next 10 minutes anyway. We've got a question from Michelle. Uh, Michelle,
Yeah.
uh, Michelle will be talking soon there. Michelle from Back in Time Panel Investigators wants to
Oh,
know
very cool. Yeah, yeah.
what do you think
Let's
about
see.
the
I see the question.
modern
Yeah,
day
Mhm.
high-tech equipment compared to more traditional methods such as trigger object, stone tape, theory, etc.
there is a bit
Do
of
you
doubt.
guys think electricity interferes with the detection of spirits? John Paul.
Yeah. Anyway, hi, Michelle. How are you? It's an interesting one because I've electrical background myself. What they have discovered in recent years is some people actually get nausea from being around electricity. We've seen that in ghost hunters programs and stuff where a feeling of sick, but when they actually run the EMF meters around, there's a very high level of EMF. EMF is everywhere. Um, with the amount of traffic, as we call it, with internet and high speed, 5G now, 4G, 3G, 2G, everything is in the air. It's very, very difficult to say if it's helping, if it's enhancing, but we go back to the original theory of spirits use energy to show themselves. So the more energy around, the better chance they can use the energy and possibly knock on a door, push something over, touch one of us in the head, anything at all like that. The newer equipment versus the older equipment, I'm all about the gadgets. So I love the new equipment. I think everything needs to evolve. But in our experience, we go back to the basics. We use night vision cameras, ultraviolet lights, every sort of thing. But we go back to the basics of the talking board. We go back to the basics of trigger objects. And it all depends on energy around and the team that you're with. It's not a case of anyone can just stand in a room and stuff is going to happen. You need to be comfortable with your team so that the energy levels within each of you can help it. I don't necessarily the newer equipment isn't going to give you that. No matter how much equipment you have, no matter how much money you spend, you need to have a team to get the results. That's my theory on it. And I love the gadgets.
What do you think,
Yeah.
Sinead?
That's the main thing.
What do you think, Sinead?
I think similar to what John Paul is saying, gadgets are great. They're high tech and they're quite progressive in a lot of ways. I honestly think that some of the best results that we've had over the years have been us around, even humming, singing, laughing. We could be just laughing together over something stupid all of a sudden, and that's when we'll have huge amount of activity occurring behind us. So in ways I do believe that they are feeding off the energy of a person rather than different gadgets that we do bring along that are actually quite useful. I honestly think that the people involved, similar to what is what enhances the activity.
True.
And it generally is
Yeah.
all about, I say, the vibes you're bringing. I know it's a bit kind of a weird kind of out there thing, but the vibes you're bringing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Lindsay just says, "Hi, Lindsay."
Hi, Lindsay.
Hey, Lindsay.
I couldn't agree with you more there, sis. So we only got a few more minutes left there, folks.
Now, in saying that, the likes of when you're recording at the time, you listen back, you'll have the EVPs coming through, the electronic voice phenomena that we don't hear at the time of the investigation. But listening back, there'll be clear sentences and words picked up, clear as day. Don't know where they come from. Would love to find out where they are, who they are, and why can't we actually hear them at that present moment? That just still baffles me.
I know. I suppose it's like.
Yeah, I love the Frank's box myself.
Yeah, I know
It's,
Anthony, you're a bit iffy on the Franks box, but I actually kind of like the
Oh, no.
Franks box.
Oh no,
I love
we
it.
used
It's
it.
the best.
I do like the Franks box.
We used the Fank box
Sorry, Anton?
or the spirit box as it's called, Fank box or the spirit box or the ghost box.
Yeah.
As it's called. We'll use it again. It's just
Yeah, we do use those.
Oh,
They do
Yeah,
have
yeah.
interesting stuff with it there, like in the old barracks in County Kerry. There we've got heavy breathing coming over time after time there, and that was very unusual. Heavy breathing, which is weird coming over radio stations, as you would say there. And I thought it was
Yeah.
that was a weird phenomenon, and we found out with the history of the location that people were trying to run out the building maybe because there was a fire. So it was whatever happened on that Fanks box was kind of unique to what the actual history was there. I've got your names a bit mixed up on the menu thing there. It's all, it's all right there, but we're teething problems there. But we'll go for next time there. So, folks, you're going to kick your ass there, and I'm going to give you the answer to that quiz thing.
Yeah, just like.
So, so the answer, you had the chance there. It was underscore A underscore E underscore new word S underscore E, and the actual answer was, I'm going to show you the picture of the place. Show.
Can't see it. myself.
See it now in a minute. Hopefully you'll see it now.
I can see
It's
it.
right over my head.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay. It's the Blarney Stone, folks. The Blarney Stone. I could talk for ages about it there. But I don't
Yeah.
know. The Blarney
The
Stone
good old Blarney Stone.
in Blarney Castle. Now, I don't know. I think I've got somebody on the line. Now, please, no, this is just, I don't know if I've got somebody on the line. I don't know if they can come up there.
No way. Who's on the line?
Who's on
If
the
this is
line?
Boris,
Tell
No,
us.
we've got somebody
Boris.
important on the line. I don't know if we Boris Johnson, but he said
Oh, it's
goodbye
Boris.
after Angela Merkel was on there. I'm just seeing now.
Yeah.
Who's on the line there?
Who's it?
Can you talk to us?
Oh,
Zach
Zach.
Baggins
Oh,
from
no
Ghost
way.
Adventures.
Oh, hey, Zach.
Baggins. I see that
Zach.
you're in a hospital there. Is it in Idaho there? In a hospital, is that true? And there's a haunted area in the building. Aggressive patients there. Is there bad energies in there? Good energies? What are you feeling in there, Zach? Can you tell us?
Zach, are you okay?
Oh, very, very low. What is it? Is it a demon or malevolent or malevolent? It's a dark energy from malevolent. Oh, all right.
I think you gotta help him out, Anthony.
I think he's in trouble there.
Sounds interesting.
I don't know. Are you right, Zach?
Zach,
God, what did you do?
I don't know.
did he win the competition?
Did he win?
Did he win? Did he get it right?
Zach's in the toilet, apparently. Zach's in the toilet. He's in the toilet in the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Jesus, I hope Joey washes his hands afterwards anyway there.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus, I know he's still in the toilet. Just like that. Zach, you there?
No, he's just fallen down.
Oh, hold on.
Ran out of toilet roll. It's all gone out of Aldi.
Oh, it's Zach anyway. Okay, folks there. So I'm going to say goodbye to John Paul and Sinead. The hours come quickly there. God, it's gone very quickly there.
All right.
There's a few problems there. Maybe, I might not be able to hear some stuff, see some of the footage there, but we'll work on it the next.
Yeah, work in progress. First time only, so.
Next week's show.
Next week, yeah.
So I'm just going to talk about who's on next week's show. So first of all, I'm going to have to say, have you got anything you want to ask there, John Paul? Anything on the closing statements? No.
No, just thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is our first attempt at this kind of live chat. So I think it went well. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, Sinead.
Yeah, thanks,
team. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.
And
if there's any questions, just get them to us. We're here to help.
I'm just going to pass you on to Sinead, who's going to tell you how to contact us again.
Yeah, cool. So if you just missed the show and if you want to contact us for the next one, please do. So you can actually head on to our website, GhostÉire.net, and click on the contact page on that website, fill in the blanks there. If you want a private question, just write private. You don't have to publicly put your name out there. You can just put it in private. You can also email ghost_era66@yahoo.com. Or you can message private messages as well. So just different ways and means of doing this.
We just had one sign out question saying, I'm looking forward to meeting you all soon. That's Michael Ryan. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for your question tonight. And we hope to meet you all soon
Thanks, Michael.
in the near future. Sinead,
yes.
from County Dublin. Hope to see you soon. And John Paul, love talking to you there.
Cool.
Love to see you about. Talk to you soon. Okay. So, folks, next week we're hoping to have a very good team on air with us. It's Back in Time Paranormal Investigators, Michelle Conley and Mary Nolan. And if you have any questions for them, please do put forward. Stay on the Facebook page and maybe on the Back in Time Paranormal Investigators page, and we'll be putting links up on the GhostÉire page soon. So if you have any questions for them, or you can put it through to us there, then please do. We have a lot of knowledge in this subject. So next week is Back in Time Paranormal Investigators with Michelle Conley and Mary Nolan. So, folks, I'd like to say thank you tonight for viewing in. It's a few mistakes. I'm sorry there. We're just starting off pre-TV problems. But at the end of the day, it's a new experience for all of us, and thank you. So, Avish, Shlom Gafoil, I won't see you next time. I'll see you in the near future. Goodbye.